That is not true. I did last time, and then I went like that, right in front of Mike.
Mike's like, thanks for making me do it again.
I feel so uncomfortable.
Skinny dude flexing.
All right, back for another episode of Crosstalk. I'm Tim.
I'm Chris.
And today we're talking about movies that you need to go into clean, aka movies you need to go into spoiler free. I'm pretty excited about this topic, guys.
Yeah, me too.
Same here.
I think it's going to be fun because we're going to talk about different examples of movies that you need to go into clean, because it's not always the case that it's going to be for a twist or some sort of reveal, right?
That's right.
Yep.
I think it'll be very eye-opening. Oh, yeah. So I'm gonna let Mike go first.
Yeah. Okay, so for my picks, I didn't for this one I didn't really choose like one single movie I could single out. So what I want to talk about is movies that you need to go in clean, but again, like you said, not because there's like a twist ending, but because it's something that just subverts your expectations, even while you're watching the movie. So even though you might go in clean, right, and not know anything about it, you still kind of build up those expectations and assumptions, like and two movies that really kind of just flip you on your head are Nocturnal Animals, written and directed, I think, by Tom Ford.
Yeah.
And Get Out. So like the 2017 smash hit of the year. Sorry.
Masterpiece.
or calling it now. But yeah, the horror movie Get Out by directed and written by Jordan Peele.
Yeah.
The reason why I chose those movies were because they do a really good job of really just taking you for a ride and you don't know where you're gonna go. Get Out is like probably one of the stronger examples of the two, just because you think and without, I'm gonna try my best not to spoil it for our audience and for Andre off camera because he hasn't seen it yet. See it. It's like,
Get Out, Andre.
Like my best thing to say about the movie is I do not watch the trailer at all. That trailer spoils quite a bit.
Yeah, you know what? I didn't watch the trailer.
I didn't either. Yeah.
And it worked out perfectly.
Oh, you guys are lucky.
Same.
You guys were like I still enjoyed it regardless, right? I thought it was a smash film, but I feel as though it would have been better if I didn't know what it was about and kind of just saw the poster and just made assumptions from that, I guess.
Yeah.
And the same thing for Nocturnal Animals. I didn't know what to expect. Like when I see Tom Ford's name, I'm thinking, oh, is he just gonna cast a whole bunch of beautiful people and just talk about stuff?
He does have that aesthetic though in his films where it's always, I don't even know what the right word is. It's very like glamorous.
Yeah. But the like, again, I'm not gonna try to like go in depth in the movie, but the way he constructs the story and actually the camera work is actually pretty slick, and the story even slicker. I did not expect to watch what I watched.
Yeah.
Like, especially in the opening.
I haven't seen it yet, but I really want to, especially now.
In the opening minutes, I'm just like, I'm watching this. Okay, that's cool, I guess. But then, it kind of makes sense when you think about it. And it's one of those movies that really sticks with you after. I remember watching it, the first time I watched it, that's all I could think about for a solid day. I was just thinking about the plot and going, wait, this is associated with that and that's associated with that. I'm like, I get it. That was a damn fine film. Okay. And it was very good.
Okay, so I just want to make one small comment about it, just to talk about the glamour thing. So you know how Amy Adams and Isla Fisher are often compared?
Yes.
Man. Yeah,
there's a perfectly executed example of that.
Yes, it is. And I'm not gonna spoil it.
I'm not gonna spoil it. I want to go into it. Whole purpose. I want to go into it clean.
Yep. I'm not gonna spoil it. I just thought it was really well thought out.
Yes.
And they knew what they were doing, and That's
great.
It's a movie that you need to know nothing about, just going clean, and you're gonna have a blast, during and then after too.
Yeah, so I've avoided a lot of things about it
for the best.
because I want to go into.
I will say though that this is rare for me, but at the end of the movie, I was like, I don't understand this part, and I had to look it up.
Yeah, but then oh my god, this is great. And I think the same would definitely go for Get Out as well.
Yeah.
It's a horror movie, but to do it the way the story was written and the way the characters carry on throughout the story, I thought it was great.
Yeah, I agree, 100%.
Again,
It's that one I have seen, so I can contribute. Yay! I 100% agree with that. Yeah, it just subverts like every, subverts like every trope, and then it also takes you in directions that you never expected it to go.
Especially in the third act.
It just okay. You're all right. Okay, cool. Like I kind of see where this is going. I know and everything, and it's just like boom.
Yep, and you're like,
head.
It's one of the few movies where I actually, I felt was earned. Like that last third act was well earned.
Yeah.
I'd
I
agree.
agree.
Yep. And I'm gonna be being super vague, but damn, great ending.
You know what's funny too? I heard a lot of people describe it as a horror movie, and I agree that it is, but it's not a horror movie in the traditional sense.
I think it's more of like a suspense thriller is how I would categorize it more than a horror movie.
There's definitely an element of horror to it.
Yeah, well, like the
psychological, yes.
The horror in it is more so just like it makes you realize like that there is that type of racism in society,
like an underlying it's like an underlying issue that people don't
like to talk about or like to address or is even addressed in society nowadays. I thought that was really smart.
Yeah, and it's an important film because it brings that to the forefront and it's conversations that we need to have, right?
Definitely.
So, I mean, we mentioned how it subverts things. I was gonna say the fact that we have to do that is kind of like disheartening, but what a well executed movie.
I know. It's just all around great. Like you can't sing its praises enough, right, to people.
Yep.
For sure.
I've heard people
But on the other time you're like, I'm not gonna tell you anything about it, but like just see it.
Just watch it. Just sit down and watch it.
Just do it.
Like, and I've heard people complain like, well, I didn't really get it or I didn't understand why, and I have to wonder like, did you not do you not maybe you just don't care? Maybe that's the problem. Like maybe that's why it doesn't resonate.
Could be, yeah.
I don't know.
Could very well be.
I don't know. It's like I guess if I'm gonna go down this route, and but like as a person of color, like I felt as though like the movie really resonated, and that's why I understood it. But I can see why. I can see how other people might not have that same reaction.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But yeah. So those are my picks.
Cool.
Fantastic.
Yep.
You're up, Tim.
Yep.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna go the typical route because I think there's lots of examples of films which you definitely need to go spoiler free. Because there's a point in the movie where something happens that absolutely will ruin the movie if someone tells you about it.
Yeah.
Now, Get Out and Nocturnal Animals, I think we could have got away with spoiling them, but it wouldn't have spoiled the movie experience necessarily.
Yeah.
But with these movies, it's specifically because there is a twist in them. So, like, we talked about, like, David Fincher as an example of a director who's really good at making films that have a specific twist. I mean, that's not the whole purpose of the movie, and the movie doesn't fall apart without the twist. But the twist is 100% an absolute do not ruin this for someone, because if you ruin the twist for them, then the movie's just going to not have much impact.
Yeah.
So like we talk about movies like Fight Club, or we can talk about Seven, or we can talk about The Game. Those are all great examples of films that have this really interesting upending moment at the end. And I mean, there's other examples of directors who do this too, like Martin Scorsese has Shutter Island, and that movie has a great twist at the end. And I'm going to spoil the shit out of that movie because like it's way old now, so statute of limitations on spoilers.
It's like what, 4 or 5 years old?
No, I think it's older than that.
Oh, it's gotta be older. It's like 2000.
It's in the
2009.
Yeah, it's in the.
Oh wow, I didn't realize it was that old.
So anyway, at the end of the movie, we found that Leonardo DiCaprio was crazy, and the whole time he's been creating this scenario of him as a detective uncovering a crime of which he's the author.
Yeah, I didn't think it was all that.
It wasn't
all that shocking when they got to it. I'm like, oh, okay, right.
Yeah.
Yep.
But regardless, they execute the movie in a good way, so that there is a bit of fulfillment there. And there's a bit of it's earned somewhat. I mean, there's other examples too, like Gone Baby Gone.
Fight Club is probably a really, really good example, and Seven is also.
I mean, we've talked about Usual Suspects before.
Usual Suspects as well.
That's like the
if you can't,
example.
like you can't tell that, you can't spoil that for somebody, because it's too, like when you get to the end of it, you're like, holy shit, and Spacey just does an amazing job, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
So there's tons of examples riddled throughout film history, but I know it's hard in this day and age to not do that because there's so many things out there that can ruin. Like there's social media, there's I don't even know, like
perusing through the wiki page.
Yeah, just like looking at anything really, right? Like there's so many ways to have movies ruined for you. But thank God when you don't have that happen.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
So that's my 2 cents on that.
Okay.
So Chris, you can talk now.
All right. Great. So I'm going to talk about a different kind of film that you need to go into fresh, at least in my estimation. It's sort of along Mike's lines, but a little bit different insofar that it's more of an experience. So the movie is either visually stunning or there's some weird visuals going on, or the plot of the movie it's just basically films that are sort of really strange or avant-garde or something like that. I'm thinking kind of Cronenberg.
Yeah.
Cronenberg's films. A few examples I can think of off the top of my head: Cube, or like Altered States, or Phantasm, and one actually that I just came to mind as you guys were talking as well, High Rise, as well, with Tom Hiddleston in it.
Oh yeah.
At the end of that film, I'm like, what did I just watch? So it's sort of
that's a divisive movie too.
It is. It's super. And you know what? I still don't know if I liked it. I've seen it. I watched it about 4 months ago, and I still don't know if I really like it. But it's the kind of film that makes you think about whether, like, what was it really about and what is it. So, and an Altered State is just so weird. I can't even describe that to somebody anyway. Yeah. But I just say to them, it's a very strange movie. You may not like it, but I recommend you watch it. I can't really tell you, like, I don't want to, not really spoil, but I don't want to give you a certain expectation going into it. So again, like along your lines, like I don't really want to set them up a certain way. Go into it open, with your mind open, and just see what happens on the other side.
See what you discover.
Yeah, see what you discover about yourself in the film, but just.
I mean, we were talking about Enemy before we started recording, and that movie is the exact same for me. Like, people recommend it, but it's like a divisive movie in the way that some people really like it, some people really hate it, and I still don't know how I feel about it.
Yeah, exactly.
But I'm glad I watched it because it was interesting.
Yeah, so a film like that, I would recommend it, but I wouldn't really want to give you a pre, like just a certain level of expectation going into it. Yeah.
Because how can you? Because you can't even really.
You can't really even explain it, but at the same time, even if you could, you still kind of wouldn't want to. Yeah. Like, I give you like sort of a base outline of what some of those films are, but I want you to go in clean so you can experience it for yourself. The strangeness that several of these films are. So yeah. That's based. I mean, that's really want to go, and on all those, I feel like really 4 good examples. Especially Altered State. Man, that movie is strange. It is so odd, and there's a lot of really think the Technicolor visuals of 2001, like those sort of visuals, and just really sort of a transformation of someone, and it was just really it's very odd.
So it's very much of its time. It's like a time capsule movie.
Yeah, it's like, because I believe it came out in it's the late 70s, early 80s. Right. So it's like it's an older film, but yeah, it's odd. But I would recommend anybody giving it a watch, because I mean, you might not like it, but you're like, wow, so that was different. You know what I mean? So, and I don't really want to, I don't want to. I could talk about some of the effects in it and stuff like that, because some of the way they did some of the things, and it was really cool, especially for the time. Yeah. But I don't really want to do that, because I want to let you go into it fresh and experience it for yourself. Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
So I thought it was a good topic. I mean, it was like, it's hard to talk about that without revealing things about these kinds of movies, because again, as soon as we do that, we're describing exactly the things we dislike, which is to ruin movies.
Exactly.
And some of these films we like so much, and we want to talk about it, but then like, I want to talk about it so bad.
Exactly.
Like Get Out is a great example. I want to talk about this so bad, but I can't, because I don't want to do that, because I want you to experience
that guy, right?
Yeah, we want, but go watch it, and then we could talk about it after.
Yeah.
Right. So that's
have like an
that's
episode
great...
that like discusses these movies in like in depth that we just talked about.
Yeah,
so
so
that
like-
should happen.
This is a spoiler-ridden discussion. We're gonna talk about all the great things about the movie, and then
Yeah, that's a really good idea. Yeah,
we'll be satisfied.
that's great. Add it to the list.
But that is not the time or place for this.
That's right.
So that's. I think that's a great summary of that.
I think
Yeah,
I
that
think we
was good.
covered it all. I mean, I think the overarching message there is, there's so much out there to experience, and I mean, as part of being sort of ambassador for film, you want to be the guy that ruins the experience for somebody.
Mm-hmm.
So let them go in clean, go watch it, come back, we'll talk about it, and we'll have this amazing conversation.
Yeah,
Exactly.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Right.
Great.
Sounds good.
All right. So, what do you think about some of our choices, or about some of the sort of categories we listed some of the films underneath? Feel free to comment below, like and share the video, or even better, subscribe to the channel.
Until next time, I'm Tim,
And I'm Chris.
and this is Crosstalk.